Hey guys, I'm coming to you again with another how to. And I want to talk to you about setting up your reel to fish for a catfish. Okay. So, some of you may have seen some of my other videos, and you know that I'm the self proclaimed catfish queen because I love the fight and I love catching huge catfish with a reel, not with my bare hands. So in my previous video, I showed you guys how to re-spool your line, and this is my Shakespeare line. And whew, excuse me, sorry. So I talked to you about this bail. This bail, you need to make sure that you close it. This is the open position, and this is the closed position. This is the open position. This is the closed position. Okay. All right. So in the closed position, you are going to take the line that you have. You need to make sure that the line that you have released is long enough to go through the tip of the last eye on your rod, and then you probably need to pull a little extra so that it doesn't fall back down after you have threaded all of the eyes. Okay. So I am going to release some more line. First, I'm going to grab this up so it doesn't get jumbled up down here. This is new line on this reel, and sometimes your line needs time to develop memory onto the reel. Okay, so I'm going to open my bail, and I'm going to just pull off about 3-4 feet of line. Okay, so from here, I'm going to take that line that I pulled off, and I'm going to stick it through this first eyelet. And I'm going to pull the rest of the length of it through there. And so now you see I've gone through this first eyelet, if you can see that. Okay. Now I'm going to continue to do that through all of these eyelets. I'm going to thread all of these little eyelets until I get to the top of my rod. This rod is pretty long. And I'm not sure what the length of it is, but as you can see, it's taller than me. So, and I am 5 feet tall. So, I think it might be 5'1". Anyways, I am taking this. Now, once you get to these last couple of eyelets down here, I need my glasses because these are smaller eyelets, and you need to make sure that you're going through the actual hole. I am going to, hold on just a sec. Okay. I'm going to show you with this last eyelet that with this braided line, because I have so much line loose, I could easily just take the end of this line and thread it through there, but I find it easier to just kind of double my braided line, double it, and then poke it through that way, and then just pull. So now I have all of my eyelets threaded, and I have a good 3 feet of braided wire fishing line left. Okay, so I want to show you a couple of things that I use. Okay, I don't always use a leader. These are called leaders. A leader line. You will hear people say a leader line. I don't always use these. I very rarely use these because it's a lot of work, and sometimes they get tangled up on my line, and I don't feel like having to untangle them. However, I did purchase some 6-inch leaders that are kind of short. This is a multi-pack. If you saw that, this is a multi-pack. It has 9, 6, 9, 12, and 18 length. Okay. But I'm going to use this 6-inch leader. Maybe. We'll see when we get to the end. I know some of you have caught some of my videos and you see that I usually have more than one hook on my line. And so I do that because I love the thrill of catching more than one fish at a time. Oh, let me also show you this. For my newbies or people who aren't familiar with all of the fish terminology and tools and things, if you look here, all of these hooks have a different number on them. And that's because this is the size of the hook. And so this is a size 4. This is a size 8. I'm sorry. These were a size 2. They're 8 quantity, size 2. These were a size 4 as well. And these were a size, these were actually a size 8. But these were a size 8 treble hook. So you have some hooks that are just a normal fishing hook. Looks like a normal hook. Okay, let's see if I can get that to stand up a little bit better. The lighting is crazy. I'm trying to show you this. Okay, there. Okay, so this is a normal hook, and then these size 8s are very teeny tiny treble hooks. Treble meaning there are 3 hooks on there. If you could see that, there are 3 little hooks on that one hook. Okay, I don't use those much because they get caught in weeds and things, but they will catch a fish for you. Okay, this particular one that I showed you guys first, it is probably a size 2. I'm pretty sure it is. And I like this size 4. I can use this size 4 to fish for panfish mostly. That size 2 I can use to fish for catfish or panfish. Although you have to make sure you hide this hook when you're putting your worm on or whatever you're fishing with, your bait that you're fishing with, for the most part. There have been times that I didn't. I dropped something. Sorry. All right. So after that, you will need some weights. I love the egg-shaped weights. But I'm going to tell you one thing about these egg-shaped weights. Before you purchase them, make sure that you can see clearly through to the other side of that hole, because if not, it's going to be hard for you to get your line through it. And I have purchased packs of weights and I couldn't get my line through the hole because it was closed on the opposite end. You also want to make sure you have, I only use these, use bobbers for pan fishing. I don't use these for catfishing, so we're not going to work with them today. And I will say this, I usually use a much bigger weight on my catfish line than what these are. I'm going to have to dig really quick and find a new one to put on here because they are gone. I've used them all out of this spot. But I do use a lot of these, and tying them on is going to be a whole nother video because that's a video in itself. Okay, so let me see. This is my fishing chair, guys. It is not connected to the chair part right now because I'm using it to get some things out of. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. You can also, I'm glad that I picked this up. You can also find these weights that a lot of people like. I just don't use them very much. I'm going to use this to put behind it, make it easier to see. This is called a split shot. You see that? It's called a split shot. And it's called a split shot because it's open on both ends. But on this end, in the back, you can use those two wings to open and close the split part in the front. Okay. All right. You will also need some needle nose pliers. I keep these on hand. I always have pliers. I usually take maybe two pairs of needle nose pliers because this is how I get the hook out of the fish's mouth. I hold it with my fish. I hold the fish with the fish clamp. You stick this in his mouth and you clamp it down, and it holds very, very well. Keeps me from having to touch the fish because I am afraid of touching the fish. So I hold the fish's mouth with the fish grippers, and then I use the plier to take the hook out of his mouth. I purchased these on Temu. So you can go to Temu and get you a pair. And it came as a set, a three-piece set. I'll see if I can find a link and post it for you guys, okay? All right. So that's it. And you need a pair of scissors. So let's get started. I'm going to show you my ghetto rig. That's what I call it. My ghetto rig. I'm not going to use the leader in this video. I'm just going to show you my ghetto rig because that's what I call it. So I found some bigger weights, by the way. So I'm going to take one of those bullet egg-shaped weights. Okay. Egg-shaped weights. I'm sorry. And I am going to start at the bottom. I'm going to put my weight on first. And I'll tell you why. I put my weight on first because my weight is going to keep. I would use an even bigger weight than this normally. But like I said, I need to go and purchase some more. I put my weight on the bottom because my weight is going to keep my line tight. So that and on the bottom, so that everything above my everything above my weight is going to be pretty much just a teeny bit off the ground. The first hook that I'm going to put on here, it will be off the ground, but just maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 inches. The hook that I will put above that one will be up off the ground even further. So I'm going to show you I call it my ghetto hookup. Okay. Like I said, I'll show you guys how to tie these knots later in a different video. So I have my weight on now. I'm going to cut this tag end off, this little floppy end that is not going to be of any use to us. I'm going to cut that off. Now, I told you braided line is hard to cut, so hold on. All right. So now I have my weight on the bottom, okay? So next, I am going to move up, and I'll typically use my hand as a guide for how far to move up. So I'll move up to here. Let's say about 6 to 8 inches above this weight, okay? Now, I'm going to tie on my first hook, okay? Like I said, I will show you guys how to tie on these hooks later. And I'll also talk a little more in depth about different types of hooks and brands. This is an Eagle Claw bait holder, and I love these. They have a little additional hook on them that is, I don't know, I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up, make sure I tell you guys later. Okay, so that's my first hook that I have on my line, and it's just there. Okay, and you see how it kind of protrudes out. You want it to do that. So you're going to make sure that this little knot that you created is on the back end of that hook. Okay, next I'm going to use my hand and I'm going to measure up another 6 to 8 inches, but I'm going to tell you this, I kind of prefer to go maybe like 10 inches. Okay, so I'm going to put another hook on this line about 10 inches up. Okay, I'm going to use the same, I'm not going to use the same size. I'm going to use a slightly smaller size hook. Now I will put a leader on here. Okay, I'll put a leader on here so you guys can see how it's done. Now there's something called a swivel that you can use to attach this, but I'm just going to use the leader itself. And because I have 2 hooks on here, I'm going to go ahead and move up about 12 inches instead of 10, so that when this falls, it's not getting tangled down here. Okay. All right. So whenever you attach a leader, it allows this part of the line, this is actually called a donkey rig, this part of the line to float out on its own on the water away from the rest of the line. Okay. Uh-oh. And so I can now pull this knot and secure my leader onto, I made a mistake. Gosh. I hate it when I get that little knot right there, but it will be okay. You get the gist. Just make sure you pull past it. And I think I'm a little too far down, but it'll be okay. We're going to take this off and redo it. You get the gist. You're going to open that little hook on the leader. And with this, you don't have to, you could just attach your hook. And I'm going to use a bigger one because I use this leader. I'm going to use a bigger hook. These are called Catfish hooks. It's curved. It has a curved shaft. It's not straight. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna actually hook that onto there. This is going to allow for lots of movement of your bait. Okay. And close that. And so now I have my donkey rig. I want you guys to see this a little better. Maybe if I hold it close to my shirt. Yeah, I think that works. You can see my hook there, my weight here, my first hook here, and then my second hook here. So this is called a donkey rig. I should have moved this up a little bit higher, but I kind of made a mistake. I'm going to take it loose and do it again. But for the purposes of this video, you know exactly what we're trying to do. Okay, so now we're finished. This is my ghetto donkey rig that I use to catch all those catfish that you see me catching. Okay, so please like and please subscribe to my page. I'm trying to reach my viewer count, my viewer threshold. So you guys please like and subscribe. Okay. Be blessed.